Wife. I'm glad she's not behind me. I'd probably been stabbed.
All right, I'll do that then.
Do you want me to log in? You can look on.
No, it's okay.
First thing first. The structural.
Yeah, remember. First going. Right here. Don't worry about it.
Oh, I see. Oh, you found it. Okay.
Hey. Oops.
Okay, we're ready.
Can anybody get in?
Yeah, I'm in. Are you in?
No, we can't get
Are we
in.
ready?
There's
Yep.
another meeting
Oh, should
going
be
on.
like.
Yeah, well, it just started. It was there. Try it again, refresh it, because they have the executive meeting unless they actually let it.
It's that camera, right?
Oh, it's the camera
I'm
below the
doing
window.
it right now.
Yeah.
below the window.
Good.
It's gonna blind you.
Yeah.
Where's the card?
You got- I'm
Okay.
recording it, but you guys.
I'd like to welcome those members of the community who have
Okay, stop
joined this
doing
meeting by Zoom.
Try it again.
I want to call, set the ground rules for the members and the directions of participation. In this case, we have a
FSR.
fairly short agenda, but some agenda items
know.
that we felt
Yeah,
needed
this
to
is
be
the one.
addressed. I will
Rob's-
call on the board member
Mel's
that
reading.
requested the agenda topic to present the motion. I would like each board member to
everybody
request to
refresh and hit it
speak and
again.
be recognized before making a comment, and only speak once to allow all board members who choose to speak to respond on that particular topic. After each board member has spoken, if any board member wants to respond to something another board member has raised, we can do that. Once all board members have had the chance to speak, we will then move into member comment period. We will take comments from 3 or 4 community members about a specific topic. I will tell you that my email has been flooded with messages, as all board members. We have received considerable input from the community on various issues on the agenda, and I do thank you for those comments, some on a variety of issues. We will follow this procedure throughout the meeting. We'll, after the public has spoken, we will then, after the member comments, we will vote on the second. We will follow this procedure throughout the meeting, and then at the end of the meeting, we'll have the homeowner forum where residents can speak. I would like to keep the meeting as expeditious as possible, given that it's a special meeting and it's on a Friday afternoon. We do apologize for the time of the meeting, and that we felt there was some issues that needed to take place before the weekend. Please be respectful and professional in your comments. Any comments that are out of the scope of the topic being discussed will be interrupted by the facilitating board member to ensure that we stay on topic. Is there a motion to approve the prior agenda for the last meeting?
So that's the agenda for this meeting.
For this meeting.
I move to approve the agenda for the meeting.
Second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? It's unanimous.
Who seconded that?
Tim.
Tim. Okay, thank you.
Okay, well, now go to the subject of old business. The subject is the pools, the lagoon pool. I'd like to call on Brody Hurtado to address that issue.
So we have 2 bids from pool companies to repair the lagoon pool. We tried to get a 3rd bid from Red Rock, but they declined to bid. The repairs are The repairs include all skimmer basket repairs that are currently, there are leaks coming through those, but it's repair any of them that are in need of that. Water line tiles will be taken down and redone, and matching tiles will be put up with them. Cracks in the foundation and the plaster will be sealed and painted to match. And the two bids we have, one is from Raven Pools. That is for $15,733.42. Aztec Pools is $20,124.43. Both of these vendors are very familiar with our pools. They have been hired at one point or another over the last 15 years to either repair stuff or maintain stuff or install different items in these various pools that we have. We are under a timeline from the county, as Laura from management has shared in the last meeting. We have, I believe, just about 2 weeks left to get everything on the county inspection report done. All these vendors have received the leak detection reports, the county inspection reports, and the structural engineer reports. They all work very closely with the county, including Seth, who was out here from this report. And they're confident that whoever we choose will be able to rectify all those issues from the county report and get them done in a timely manner, estimating less than 14 days, just around 10 days total. So I move that we approve the bid for Raven Pools at $15,733.42. The last thing I'll add is Raven Pool, most of these are repairs and they don't typically get warranties, but Raven Pools has agreed to give us a 6-month warranty on the skimmer basket repairs and a year warranty on the tile repairs. Aztec Pools will not give any warranty. And again, Raven is also the lower bid. And I thought there was one more thing I was going to say.
Is there a second to that motion?
Can I ask a clarifying question first to this group? Where is this expense coming from? So that's usually part of it. Like, is this a reserve expense? Is this an operating expense? We need to make sure that we will clarify that.
What did it typically come from? Do you know?
Well, these are repairs.
It has to be operating.
These are repairs that would typically be operating expense that it's going to come from. We may have to borrow from the reserves in order to do that. When we have $211,000 that we could borrow, and note on the actual financials that it would be due back to reserves in order to cover this.
Yeah, I don't think.
So
that's
I'll
gonna be
second the
though.
motion.
Just to clarify, I don't, to answer which fund it is appropriate as a repair to be under maintenance because of the size of, as well as the type of work. But I don't see how we would have to do a loan because the new budget has, I mean, our operating expenses right now are way lower than what's being brought in. And there's a couple $100,000, well, over $100,000 anyway in the operating account. So a $15,000 expense wouldn't come close to meeting that.
Yeah.
All right, we'll open it for discussion. We've had a motion and second. Who on the board would like to discuss?
I got a couple of questions.
Yes.
One is, do we have to have the lagoon pool open to pass the county inspection, or can we just fence it up for now?
We can fence it up.
Then the problem I have with it is, I'm looking at the pictures of the damage to these skimmers. I mean, to seal these things is just unbelievable. There's 38 of them, and they are cracked. Some have already been repaired with caulking and stuff. The cracks in the pool. To me, this is a Band-Aid, not a fix. We're going to spend $15,700 for a Band-Aid. 6 month. There's going to be no warranty on the cracks. A 6 month warranty on the skimmers. A 1 year warranty on the tile. The problem I have is those cracks. I believe between the leak detection report, and JT probably know more about this than me, or even Brian, and the leak detection report, it seems like we should get some estimates to pull out all that sand, because they say that bacteria is in the sand, correct, Brian?
Mm-hmm.
So from what I'm told is if we pulled all that sand out of the lagoon pool, we could go in there and actually look at that cement, and maybe it could be an easy fix, maybe not, but at least we would know what we're dealing with. If it's an easy fix, well, we just have to put another layer over the top, take the sand from the volleyball court. It's the same sand, correct? and then put that into the lagoon pool, and then take the sand that was in the lagoon pool, put it around the volleyball court, let the sun do its job, kill all that bacteria, so we don't have to worry about missing any inspections. Get the tile done. We could do this properly, and maybe at least let's get an estimate before we spend $15,700 for a Band-Aid. At least let's find out how much would it really cost us to fix it, so we don't have to worry about shutting it down in September after our warranty runs out on the skimmer baskets. Because to shut it down after we open it up, we've done that before, and it just gets people even more mad. As long as we got that lap pool up and running, people have a place to swim. We can open up that whole area of the backyard, just fence off the lagoon pool, at least for now, until we can get a proper repair done, would be my suggestion. Because maybe it will cost us less than $100,000 to fix the whole thing after we pull up that sand. If we could do that and get that beautiful pool, get that whole backyard fixed up, the whole back area fixed up, I think that is the better way to go, better use of our money. Because this $15,700, once these warranties are gone, we lose that money. And with the cracks in there, I'm being told we were using 50 gallons of chlorine a day in the wintertime. So that's when we're using less chlorine at $3.80 per gallon. That's basically comes out to $190 a day just for chlorine, $5,700 a month on a 30-day month. It's a lot of money for a temporary fix. Why don't we just do it right? And so we don't have this problem again. That would be my suggestion. I would love to see that baby up and running it, but do it right, not a Band-Aid. Because look at these pictures, a Band-Aid's not gonna do it here, people. I mean, I wish everybody in the community could see these pictures of these skimming devices and the damage to this pool. It's pretty bad. I'm sorry for talking so much.
Could I ask a question about something you said? You talked about taking sand from one area and swapping it with another area. How does that fix anything?
Because they say there's bacteria in the sand.
Yeah, but that's not that. I think you're missing why. If I read both inspection reports, the recommendation was to turn the sand once and let it sit for a week. The practice back before Chad passed, thus the Chad Morrissey room, he and Randy, from what I understand, turned it, I don't know if it was once a week, once a month, but they turned the sand on a regular schedule, and that allowed the sun to do its job. In fact, the amount of E. coli was only in half of the locations, and it was considered minor, which is why the recommendation was just turn the sand once, let the sun do its job. So swapping sand all around is not the fix. We just need, that's separate from the repairs is what I'm saying. The issue is just we need to ask management to get on a cycle, whatever that normal cycle was. I don't know I don't know enough about sand to know what that cycle consists of. Once a year, once a month, once or whatever.
Do you know how often they were doing that? You were probably closer.
I mean, no, I don't know how often they were doing that. I think sand needs to be turned. I'm surprised if it hasn't been already.
No, we can contract someone to do it. I'm just saying whatever that schedule is, we need to go back to doing the sand maintenance so we don't have this problem again.
Yeah, but I'm good with that, but we gotta find out all those cracks underneath it, because we get so much.
Agreed. I just wanted to make sure that's not conflated with the crack issue.
If that'll work, I'm all.
Our leak detection reports indicated, the latest ones we had, it did indicate leaks. I mean, basically, there was some evaporation. It was very minor loss of water other than evaporation. It was like an eighth of an inch or quarter inch.
That's what I heard.
Yeah, right.
So this thing about the community is talking about the fact that this is leaking, gross saying it's costing $30,000 a month to do X, Y, and Z. It's all been blown out.
Yeah, like Ryan did the math on it, and it ends up being like maybe between $200 and $300 a month on water loss. When it broke it down.
In the
summer.
And that's in the summer, it's not now.
Yeah.
And you know, our biggest issue to me is not the leaks, because I don't think it's leaking. And what Ravenspool and Aztec are both saying is they're going to go ahead and patch the seams where we have some water loss. We need to turn the sand regularly, every couple of weeks or whatever. The skimmers are an issue, but you know, the skimmers we've used for how many years? 30 or 40 years?
They should be replaced.
I don't think we need to blow everything up and replace everything. I really don't until we have the assessment or raise some money.
Mm-hmm.
We owe it to the community to do what we can to open all of our assets. Each pool, the lap pool, the lagoon pool, harbor pool, and everything we have. And we may not like the condition 100%, but we will raise some money eventually, either through an assessment, borrowing, through court, or whatever. And, I mean, I can go on and on to why we are lacking money at this point, but that's a different issue. And past boards are at fault there, to be honest with you.
Can you explain the seams? Because it looks like one of, you know those pool noodles? Mm-hmm. It looks like those were stuffed in the seams and then some caulk over it, and that's what's been holding it
They
together
put
for years.
foam or something in.
So they're just talking about doing that right. So no matter what we do or not do, they're talking about properly filling those so that we don't have leakage. Not caulk. Yeah, not caulk, but whatever the pool thing is.
Epoxy tape.
Thank
The
you.
cupola is 4 pieces, so that come together in a plus sign, if we're looking down from the sky. And those seams, I think there's been any water loss, it's been because of the seams, not the minor cracks. I was told by Thomas at Aquavita Pools last year when we walked it, and I was also told that by Airline Pools. It's the seams where we're losing the water, and I believe.
Isn't that for expanded and contracted?
Because
The seams are for expanded contraction, like you put lines in the sidewalk, right?
So they will tear all that out and redo it.
It's for any concrete, and I've experienced this in construction, any concrete item is going to show hairline cracks all the time. It's just because of expansion contractions, especially in Arizona, in Gilbert, Mesa, Queen Creek, you have some sediment, differential sediment. So you're going to have some cracking.
Mhm.
Now, if it's not causing water loss or it's not major cracking, you live with it.
Yeah. I will